Episode 27. We are back. We got Richie, Drew, and Cory joining us for another episode. We had so much fun talking. We had so much fun talking about March Madness, especially me. We decided to bring back for another episode. So first off, we forgot to do it last week, guys. What are we drinking tonight? Drew, what do you got? Actually, no, you go last because you told me what you have, and we're finishing with that. Cory, what are you drinking tonight?
That's fair.
Out of all the way across the pond from Bedford, England, Wells Banana Bread.
Wells Banana Bread.
If you like banana bread, this beer literally tastes like you're eating a loaf of banana bread.
I love banana bread.
Is it available in Michigan?
It is available at any of basically all the major liquor stores. You can get it at Total Wine and More. I believe those are in Michigan, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, nope. We got one down here. I'll get it for you for when you come down here.
We got Meijer. That's it, man.
Meijer's pretty great. You got Kroger.
We don't have Krogs.
You don't have Kroger?
Not where I live. Not in Grand Rapids.
Gotcha. I also went across the pond, not to England, all the way over to Italy. I've got an Ology Italian-style Pilsner. Don't know. Just saw it on the shelf. Snagged it. No idea what it's all about. I said, that looks cool. So I'm going to try that for the pod.
And last but not least here, I have what's called a coffee blonde ale from Oddside Ales. It's called Bean Flicker. So for all of our lady listeners, this might be a good one to try. Bean Flicker, yeah. Moving on to our first topic. Gentlemen, please tell me that you guys saw what Tiger Woods did this week, and please rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how badass it was.
Can we talk about how does she win this?
Oh, the lawsuit? She's not.
Yeah, like, I don't know what
30 million for being locked out
of being locked out of a house that's not hers.
Honey, you're not married to him. You don't have any kids. You were the girlfriend. Right. It's over.
He's allowed to say you're not allowed in my house. That's the whole point of having a house, is to not let people you don't want in.
So
I thought it was satire when I first read it. Like, I thought I was reading something out of The Onion or something. I had to double check the news source.
In today's day and age, everything looks like an Onion headline.
That shit's complete.
Well, I saw it on TikTok first. I was like, that's not real. So I rip over to Twitter, and I'm pretty sure I texted both of you. Like, when I found out, I was like, did you guys see this? 10 out of 10 savage move. Like that. Tiger Woods, he went from like a middle school, he's my favorite golfer, to high school, holy cow, he's a terrible person. And he's my late 30s, I'm late 30s adult, he's back being a badass because he's playing chess while these girlfriends are playing checkers. It's awesome.
You sent it to me and I was on a work call and I was reading through it because my messages are linked to my computer. So I was like scrolling through the article and I laughed out loud on the call. It wasn't muted. They're like, what's that? I was like, oh, I'm like, did you guys see what happened to Tiger Woods? They're like, no, what? So I actually explained the story to about 6 businessmen. They thought it was great. So thanks for that. Actually, I think I closed a sale because of it.
No joke. Imagine having the balls to do that. Hey, we're going on vacation. Meet you at the airport. Here, let me pack for you.
She was so excited too. She should have known something was up when he said to meet her at the airport and not at the private jet field.
True. I mean, I'm sure he has his own jet.
Yeah, the dude's worth a billy. He don't fly commercial.
There's no way he's just getting a first class ticket.
Right. Is he a billionaire even after the divorce?
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe not after, but I think he's pretty close with the Tiger Woods golf brand. Like he got a fat deal from Nike on that revenue, and all of their golf stuff is basically Tiger Woods.
I just love that he doesn't care anymore.
He's just out here to play golf with Charlie, to play in majors and play golf with his son.
Passing out tampons to other tour card people.
The story's almost as good as the lawsuit.
I had to do a heat check on that. Like when you sent it to me, I laughed out loud and everybody was getting all mad online saying it was sexist. So I showed Jory the two video or the clips and she scrolled over the second one and she laughed out loud. I'm like, that's funny, right? She's like,
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
it's funny.
Dude, that's like peak shit talking. Like
That's the
that's just
greatest
like,
thing.
yeah.
They're like, oh, because he's a girl, because he didn't hit his first. Like, yes, literally, that's the whole joke. Is girls
That's
don't
the
hit it as
entire
far.
joke.
That's the
Yes.
whole joke. Don't
Yes.
overthink it.
So my question is,
Tiger Woods is so back.
does he carry around a tampon in his pocket waiting for
That's-
that to happen?
He literally came that day with the intention of outdriving JT one time and giving him the tampon.
That's all he needed was one. He
And
just needed the one time.
That's also how you know he's almost 50, is like he's into the just busting balls portion to younger guys of his career. Just incredible. No, but him telling his girlfriend they're going on vacation, dropping her off at the airport, and then just going home and changing the locks is a 10 out of 10 F-boy move. And Tiger's back. It's
So-
incredible.
So Cory asked earlier, what's the odds that she wins the lawsuit? I'd have to say 0%.
1 in a million.
Here's what's gonna happen though. She's sued for 30. He's just gonna give her $3 million to go away.
Yeah,
He's
give her
gonna
like
give her-
500K so he doesn't have to pay the lawyer fees.
He's just gonna give her money and be like, yo, we never dated.
If I was
true
as
story,
wealthy as
is it-
Tiger was, I would be spiteful enough to go to court and spend like $5 million just to not have to pay her $500,000.
But what does she have to stand on? True story. Like, do you think she's got dirt that she is gonna like put out?
That's a
or
good one.
Like, what more could be said about that guy? You know what I mean? He literally got chased down with a golf club and crashed into a tree. Like, his life's been a mess for 15 years. Like, there's nothing that she could put out there that's more embarrassing than what happened.
His
to him.
DUI
was
mugshot
driving
was
with
turned
DUI.
into t-shirts.
Yes, he looked like he was 75 in that DUI photo. Like,
I saw a TikTok where somebody was wearing his DUI face shirt at a tour event, and they got his attention. He's like, "Yeah, nice shirt. That's cool."
if I was Tiger, I would sign that. I would walk
Yeah.
right up and
True
sign
story.
That's the power move right there.
Yeah.
To walk up and sign it.
Again,
No,
final sip on Tiger Woods. I just love that he doesn't give a shit anymore. I love him.
that. He's got money. He's decent looking, and he's still one of the most popular figures in the world. Like,
Oh yeah. When he plays a tournament, there's still a crowd that follows him around, regardless of if he's in the hunt or not.
exactly.
All right. Moving on to the NFL. Free agency kicked off, and it's been a whirlwind already. What are we, 2-3 days in? A lot of players moving around.
Mhm.
And there's one thing we learned above all. I think most of us already knew it, but it's good to be a quarterback in the NFL. Daniel Jones, 4 years, $160 million. What are the Giants thinking?
I would have let him walk.
100% agree. Not a Daniel Jones guy.
He's
Cory, what do you think?
I mean, it's the NFL, right? Like, it's the Kirk Cousins rule, and that's kind of what's been going on for a decade. You either have
Careful. Drew loves
tread,
Kirk Cousins.
tread lightly talking about Kirk
I get it.
Cousins.
He's a smarty guy, but no, this is actually, like, I think a really good point, because Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback, like, at all.
He is an
He's
above
Kirk
vanilla.
Cousins, if Kirk Cousins was on the 49ers last year, they'd win the Super Bowl. Like, that's like what he could do.
That's a good argument, actually.
You know, like, so you have that rule of you either have Kirk Cousins or you've got nobody. And I think Daniel Jones fits in that. Like, if you don't sign him, what's your move? They don't have a top pick. They don't have enough to trade up for a top pick. I mean, what's your move?
Yeah, I mean, go sign Lamar Jackson.
I mean, $40 million a year is ridiculous.
It's
But,
so
like,
much money.
It's going to be a bad cap hit in a couple of years. I don't think
It's-
it's a bad cap hit this year, but
when he turns to be even worse than he was this year, because they're not a good team.
just wait till they kick the can down the road when his
Yeah.
salary gets, and in 3 years his
It's all
dead cap money is going to be
backloaded.
like $100 million.
It's
And
gonna
they
be.
can't.
They're gonna regret this a lot.
well,
Are they going to regret it more than the Saquon Barkley though?
I doubt it. There's
I
just
think
no
Cory
reason.
hit it.
There's no reason to pay a running back. But sorry, Drew, go ahead.
I think Cory hit it perfectly. What are they going to do? Because they're not in a position to draft one of the top 4 guys in the draft. They're not in a position to trade him. Nobody wants him.
Sure.
And
There's always moves to be made.
yeah,
They could have traded up. There was people that were willing to deal at the top of the board, as we
yeah,
saw.
Chicago
You
was
could have
definitely.
went and got Derek Carr. They could have made a move for Lamar Jackson, for Jimmy G, because I think Jimmy G is better than Daniel Jones.
All he
There's
does is win.
he just wins, baby.
Put him on the
Um,
Bears or the Lions or the Falcons and see if all he does is win. The guy's been surrounded by the best
Great
talent
defenses.
in the
Yes.
NFL
Yeah.
for years. You know, Brock Purdy just won like 13 games in a row with that team. Like Daniel Jones is better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't know about that. I
But
don't. I
Jimmy G
don't
did
know
it
about
before
that.
Purdy got there, though. I mean, he took him to the
True.
Super Bowl. Probably should have won that game. I'm sorry, Corey.
Why
I
did
know
they
that's-
not win?
Did
Because
he
he
fall
couldn't
apart?
hit a 15-yard wide open Emmanuel Sanders to win the
And
game because the guy
Patrick
can't throw a deep
Mahomes
ball.
went Patrick Mahomes in the last 8 minutes of the game.
That's fair. That is true.
Oh,
But no, I mean, I
So
do like it. They had
yeah.
other options. Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean,
There's
Lamar.
people
No one's
out there.
trading 2 first picks for Lamar, though. That's the
I
problem.
agree. I think that's a lot to give. I don't know though. He's an MVP. I mean, they gave up 2 first-round picks for Matt Stafford, and then they won a Super Bowl. I mean, it's not the
Mhm.
worst deal you can make for a quarterback. You're either going to take a guy in the top few picks, and maybe he's good, or you take a dude that won the MVP. So you kind of got
Yeah.
Well,
options.
speaking of Derek Carr as an option for the New York Jets, he signed a 4-year 150, so he got less than what Daniel Jones received. So are we considering him a tier below Daniel Jones? Because I don't.
I think he's better. I love Derek Carr. He kind of got hosed out there in
I
Oakland
think
and
he
then
got hosed as
Vegas.
well.
He never really had a great team around him. He had really bad defenses all 9 years, like really bad defenses. He's going to go to a Saints team that's got Chris Olave, that's got Michael Thomas coming back, and Alvin Kamara. A defense that's okay. I think Derek Carr could be a sleeper, like could have the year everybody thought Russell Wilson was going to have this year. I would be very, very likely to throw an MVP futures bet if there's pretty good odds on him.
Ooh, those are big words.
I really like the move. I like Derek Carr. I just watch him to come out and have a Pro Bowl year.
I don't think they'll win enough games. Like
No,
I agree with what you're saying. I think he could be a dark horse. I just don't think they're going to win enough games to get in that MVP
Sure.
caliber. But
yeah,
I mean,
a lot of things would have to line up.
yeah, but I agree with what you're saying. I love the move, but the problem is I don't think the Saints could give them more than that. They've been in cap hell for like 5 years now. So like that might be what the Saints had, and like, hey, if you want to come play for us, this is all we can give you.
Right.
They're probably still paying Drew Brees.
Like we've got a much better setup for you here than you had there. We want you, and we're going to pay you 150. Like it's such a wild world to me. They're like 150 million. I hope that's enough for you to come and play 17 games. Just 150 mil. If you could make it happen, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do well in New Orleans as well. I am still worried about their defense being consistent to being a good team. But he needed out of Oakland / Vegas.
When they
ran
benched
his
him,
course there.
they basically ran him out of town.
Yeah. And I also love that they're like, "Hey, do you want to do a sign and trade?" He's like, "No, I do not."
I will
You're-
veto. I
you're-
will use the veto clause in my
Yes.
contract.
Yeah, love that power move. Jimmy G 3-year 67.5 with the Raiders. He's gonna look fresh in that silver and black.
He's going to look great, but let's be fair. Jimmy G is going to look great in any uniform. He's a handsome man. You know, Corey, I think you nailed it with your last thing. This is going to be his prove it. Like he's going to not a good team. They just traded Darren Waller. So
they took away one of his best
they
weapons the
took
second he got
away
into town.
the second best option on the team. He still has Devontae Adams there who gets open every route he runs. Their defense isn't very good. Everybody
They
loves
have a
Max
top 5 running
Crosby.
back as well, I think.
Yeah. Did they re-sign him? Because Jacobs
Franchised them, right?
did they tag
They
him?
tagged. I think they
Okay.
tagged him.
So
him and
Don't quote me on
Barkley
that, I
each got
guess,
the pick.
those are the things that traditionally he's needed is a good good running game, but they've got a bad defense, and he's never been on a team with a bad defense. So we'll find out if Jimmy G is a winner or if he's been on winning teams.
I'll tell you what, if they make the playoffs, Jimmy G, all he does is win.
That's all he does.
I'll take back everything I've said about the guy.
Yeah.
If he can take this team to the playoffs in that division.
He will silence every critic if he can take the Raiders to the playoffs.
But he is well known to absolutely love, porn star and stripper industry. So like,
Vegas
is like a perfect fit for him.
A great fit for Jimmy G.
Oh, he's a nightlife guy.
Well, he only dates.
You didn't remember?
That's all he dates is basically porn stars and strippers.
Is hearing that story like he went out, like he took them out. It was a big thing like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
He's like the Derek Jeter of the NFL.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison. Actually, I don't know if he gives the gift baskets on the way out.
Gift baskets.
They said it's not true, but I refuse to believe it didn't happen.
Multiple girls have said it's true.
It's as true as him saying, "Yeah, Jeets."
Yeah, exactly.
Next guy on our list here, Baker Mayfield. I have notes here that I think he'd be a good fit in Tampa Bay. I hope that he didn't sign anywhere yet because I didn't see it. But
I haven't seen it if he did.
Did he?
No, I haven't seen it if he has. I don't think he has yet.
I thought he'd be a good fit in Tampa Bay unless the Rams want to be bad with him as they rebuild. So
he signed with Tampa, right?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I honestly didn't know. So I guess I apologize for that. Well, good for Tampa Bay then, I guess.
That's a smart move.
What did he get?
1 year, 8.5.
1 year.
It was today, so don't feel too bad about not seeing it.
1 year, 8.5 mil. They didn't even give him 10 mil.
I literally finished the script.
Poor guy. Like I hope he'll get by this season on 8.5 mil. That's a pay cut for a former number 1 overall pick.
And they already announced that he's gonna have to battle Kyle Trask for the starting job.
That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
So what are the Rams going to do then? Because I know that they want to shop Stafford.
They're not going to get anything for Stafford, are they?
He's a Super Bowl champion. Let's be honest.
I don't know.
Well, he mulled retirement.
He's like 34.
He's coming off an injury.
He's not young anymore. Like he got his stuff. I don't know. That's going to be. They're definitely not going to get the haul that they gave up for him of 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff.
I'll tell you what, Corey. I don't know if you listened to our earlier podcast, but I made a comment a couple months ago saying that I think the Matt Stafford that we know is gone. He may be in the league for 2 or 3 more years, but he's done.
Definitely said that.
Rich basically scolded me for saying that.
And I stand by it. He's going to come back and shit on everybody.
He's literally was contemplating retirement for like 6 weeks. He's done with football. If he comes back, it's to collect a paycheck.
He's coming back and slinging it.
He had Tommy John. Right?
Cooper Kupp.
They've got and who else? They've got rid of everybody.
We'll figure it out. He figured it out in Detroit. He had
Cooper Kupp could get open with 1 leg.
Cooper Kupp gets open 18 times a game.
He actually has with like 1 working leg.
Oh.
So Baker Mayfield's a buck. Okay, that's cool.
I like it.
I mean, he adds probably what? If he starts 2-3 wins, they go from like a 6-win team to like an 8 or 9.
I don't dislike Baker Mayfield. I think he gets a bad rap of what he got thrown into in Cleveland. I think he's actually
what he
pretty
did
good.
in Cleveland.
Like
Cleveland was a laughing stock.
He made him competitive.
Is he the best quarterback in Browns history?
Bernie Kosar.
Bernie Kosar.
I guess Kosar. But
Derek Anderson.
Also went to Carolina. But you know what I mean? Like he's arguably the best or second best quarterback in the history of that franchise.
No, I think he'll be there. I think he'll probably play well for him. But that team, after Bruce Arians moved away from being the head coach, they kind of fell apart from a leadership perspective. The play calling, because he was a huge part of the offense, Arians, kind of went a different direction. Like they have so many weapons, they should be unstoppable on offense, and they weren't this year. So it'll be interesting to see if Baker can come in and they can figure something out.
I had a buddy make an argument, and I didn't know enough about it to say yay or nay on it, but he was making the argument that Tom Brady destroyed that organization by having too much power.
He brought him a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean they won.
And
the Super
that
Bowl,
was my argument back to him. Like, dude, Dude won
Destroy Detroit. Come on over. Destroy
Yeah,
us.
right.
Sure.
Like where
No, I agree with Richie. It's the play calling. Like they refuse to run the ball. You've got 50-year-old Tom Brady and you're throwing the ball 60 times a game. Like you're not
right.
gonna win that way.
And
You're not
Fournette,
going to do it. They
Fournette's
had
not a slouch.
Fournette's pretty good, and they drafted. I can't remember who the kid was, but they drafted a kid, White. Yeah,
Rashad White, yeah.
Rashad White, who was pretty good this year. So they could have went to that, and then honestly used the play action. And they have really fast receivers in Godwin and Michael. Help me out here, guys. Big Mike,
Evans?
Big Mike, yeah, Big Mike Evans. He's 6'5", and he will drop like close slants and checkdowns, but any contested deep ball he comes down with. Like, just give those guys a chance.
Well, he got Johnny Manziel paid. Let's be honest.
100%.
He did. That's all Manziel did.
He's
Just
the
turn around
reason.
and chuck the ball.
Run around for 45 seconds and launch it to Mike Evans.
So do you think that quote is real? Because there's that quote where he's like, I just threw it down there. He's like, Mike Evans is down there somewhere. Like he actually came out and said that a couple times. He was just like, yeah, Evans is down there somewhere.
I 100% believe it.
That's a 100% accurate quote.
Yeah,
because that's what he did. He ran around in circles and just whipped it in his direction. And Mike Evans was better than any college corner or safety.
He might be the most underrated wide receiver in NFL history.
All he does is have 1,000-yard seasons.
1,000 yards and like 5 to 10 touchdowns every year.
Well, speaking of Tom Brady, where you guys got him, is he going to hold out for retirement or
no? Dude, he's got that 24-year-old playmate. He ain't going nowhere. He's a happy.
He's got a 3-month-old kitten.
I thought you were going to say kid. I was like,
yeah,
what?
I was like, wait, what happened?
Did you see that story where he said anybody who thinks I'm coming back has never bought
it to me.
Has never bought a 3-month-old kitten for their daughter?
I think he's a good fit in Tennessee or San Francisco.
Nah,
I'll die on that hill too.
Yeah,
I mean,
you said that before. I mean, at this point, after his weird beach announcement where he looked like a grandma, like wishing somebody making their Christmas video to send back to their kids in the Midwest, I think he's done. I think he made peace with it. I think he got his ass kicked last season, and he's like, that's enough of that. I've done this. I've done what I needed to do.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Tom Brady.
He's a good fit for San Francisco, though. But they signed Darnold, so like they signed Darnold, so that basically ended any.
I feel like I said that in like October.
You did when we were talking about like pot. No, you said it towards the end of their season. I think it was after Tampa lost and was out of the playoffs. Anyway,
well,
Aaron Rodgers.
Before we talk about the two the main quarterbacks that are getting all the attention, Jared Goff, the Godfather. Last time I checked, he's still the quarterback to the Lions, and I'm still happy about it.
Yeah, he made me eat crow this season. I really wasn't impressed with him last season and in the beginning of this one, even though they started off hot. I didn't like the way he was playing, but
Cory, we had some battles.
He grew on me. I still don't think he's an elite QB, but
he's the Godfather.
If we keep
check down Charlie,
that was kind of what I was saying.
Swift and Williams,
don't get me all hot again, okay? I'm starting to come around on him, Corey.
Swift and Williams. If they didn't have Swift and Williams, they would have won like 3 games last year.
He makes the plays he needs to make. So if we can keep Ben Johnson around for a while, get a much better defense on that team, and all of a sudden that Lions team could become dangerous. It's gonna live and die by the run, though.
Well, definitely on the script for later on after we get through these next two topics here. First things first, Aaron Rodgers. Signs are indeed pointing to him joining the Jets. Corey's probably going to tell me that it's official as soon as I'm done talking.
It's like deja vu all over again.
Like everybody says it's official except him and the Jets.
He just went on the Pat McAfee show and
said it was official.
It's like my intention was to sign with the Jets. So he hasn't put pen to paper yet, but
and it won't be right. So if they trade him before June 1st, the dead cap hit is like $55 million.
Yeah,
like a quarter of their salary is dead cap. But if they wait till after June 1st, they can spread it out over 3 years, and then it's only like $18 million.
Gotcha.
So we might have this for what's that?
Does he have 3 years left in his
arm? But you can just do it, and then you just basically pay it. Like if he retires or whatever, you just spread it out. So we might have 3 more months of this before he actually gets traded.
Good God.
That's interesting. As a Lions fan, I wanted 1 more year of him in Green Bay just to keep it toxic.
Just so we could beat him 2 more times.
And make Green Bay have a $60 million cap hit playing him. Like, that's
so
unreal. That's unreal.
Just hamstrings them.
Yeah.
What if Jordan Love's the real deal?
He's not.
Like if he is
like,
Aaron
what if
Rodgers,
they go Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer?
Honestly, I think I'll have to question.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
I'll have to question my belief in God. Like if he does that to me in my lifetime, that I have to go from watching Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love crapping on the Lions twice a year. It's like statistically, the odds of that happening have got to be in line with hitting the Powerball, of drafting and preparing that well.
Even 2.
Right, like
3, right?
That doesn't happen. Look at all these other franchises that had Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and John Elway. Like they didn't. Well, actually, Indianapolis.
There's been 2 other teams.
Indianapolis did come back with Aaron, with Andrew Luck and San Francisco. God, it doesn't. But 3 doesn't happen very often.
No.
I mean, that's what I'm going to tell myself.
Like the 70s that they made the Super Bowl with. Was it Bart Starr? Is that his name?
Oh, the Packers, Bart Starr, yeah.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Yeah, he won like 47 championships when there was like 8 teams in the NFL. And that's why the Packers call themselves Title Town. Because they beat they beat the Bears and like one other team every year.
I'll tell you what, they didn't win in 1957. No, they didn't.
The Lions won like 4 or 5 in the 50s.
Yeah. Rebuilding since 57, my man.
Hell yeah. All right.
So can we call this Farpoint 2.0 or what? Are we going to see Aaron
if we
Rodgers
see this man's wiener,
if he starts like if a masseuse comes out and is like Aaron Rodgers came at me, Jesus.
I'm waiting for it, dude.
I just need him now to defraud a poor Southern state school and funnel it to his child's volleyball team.
Listen,
has anybody sidestepped a controversy better than Brett Favre has just kept his head down?
He sued Pat McAfee.
Right.
Kirk Cousins' contract is up at the end of next season. It lines up for him to end up in Minnesota if he wanted.
Could you imagine?
If he goes Jets to Minnesota, it'd be pretty
Imagine
hilarious.
him with Justin Jefferson. Ooh.
Honestly, if I had Justin Jefferson as a wide receiver, I could throw for 1,500 yards in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd be all pro.
Just throw it over to his side every time.
Just learn how to throw a slant.
Right.
And let him do the rest of the work.
It's obviously tongue-in-cheek, folks. I would get picked off every single pass that went if I could even get it off.
Could you get it over the lineman?
Yeah. Right. I'm 5'10". I'd have to jump up and throw it.
Can't remember if we talked about this in this episode or the previous, but he's going to get beat up by the New York media.
We mentioned it at the beginning of the last episode, but I think he's very smart. He doesn't act like it. I think he plays dumb sometimes, but Aaron Rodgers is a really smart guy.
But he thinks he's smart. That's what
I think he is pretty smart. He's pretty witty and he's pretty smart.
I hate him. Witty. He thinks he's witty. We've had this conversation before. He's a terrible person.
That doesn't mean you're not witty or smart. There's a lot of terrible people.
I think he's so smart we can't even understand him. Like, in a sense, right?
What was that
Einstein?
blackout event that he did?
You know what I mean? But that's the type of stuff that super smart people do. You go to that stuff to clear your
head.
That's
weird. Like he just
it is weird. So is going and doing drugs in the rainforest.
Ayahuasca. I think that's weird too. That people are doing that.
But like we probably just don't even understand it. Like people like as smart as him, like they do this stuff to clear their heads, and we just can't comprehend it.
I don't know if I'm going to put that stuff in that he's really smart. I just meant that he went to like UCLA and was generally a smart guy. And he's pretty quick-witted and all of his.
Went to Cal.
He went to Cal.
Didn't go to UCLA.
He didn't go to UCLA. He went to Cal. Yeah, I knew he was over there.
He led Cal to like 4 wins a year, and they got mad he wasn't the first quarterback taken.
Oh, yeah. What did he go, like 26? That was still one of the funniest draft day things when they just kept cutting back to him after 3.5 hours. All right. Finally, Lamar Jackson. Why are they not paying this man?
Correct me if I'm wrong. His mom's his agent.
And him. Yeah,
I thought he was his own agent. He's hire Drew Rosenhaus already and get paid.
Him and his mom tag to you. Yeah.
So first, I want to talk about Baltimore first. I love what they're doing with him. You think you're worth $250 million? Go out and freaking prove it. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. I love it. I love that power move, and they're gonna get two first-round picks if they have to trade them. Like,
Smells like collusion to me within the NFL. Smells like all those owners got together and were like, "We don't like what they did in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, and we don't want to give that much guaranteed money to quarterbacks. And this
Oh,
is
for sure.
foolish."
I honestly, I
Nor should
love
they.
what Baltimore did. You think you're worth that money, you big bum? Go prove it. You're not gonna get any calls, and you're gonna be coming back to
Since
us
when are
begging.
you so like have so much animosity towards Lamar Jackson?
I think, and I might be a minority on this, and I might get beat up on this comment by you two goons, but I think he is overrated. He's not. I think the NFL figured out how to defend him. He's not an accurate passer. Yeah, he runs. He's very fast. He makes people miss. But what has he done with it? What has he done with it? How many
Won an
playoff wins?
MVP.
How many
Who's he
playoff
had to
wins?
throw the ball to?
Yeah, I mean they traded his
Hollywood
best.
Brown?
They traded him
Okay.
this
Oh, he
year.
was
He
great. They did get rid of him.
Hollywood Brown played for Arizona this
Mark
year.
Andrews, the dude, you could throw a brick at him and he's going to catch
So
it.
his tight end is his number one weapon. That only works in one place, and that's where they throw it 150 times a game.
I'm just saying. I think he's overrated.
Now,
Uh,
did you see
a
what he tweeted
flashy,
out the other day?
fun player to watch.
His
but
completion
defenses-
percentage is 70%. His accuracy rating is 7.6, which is number 17 in the NFL, so right at the 50% mark. True completion percentage 70%, 19. Deep ball is low. Deep ball, he's the
Yeah,
31st.
he's very inaccurate deep ball.
So, yeah.
Did you see his tweet about what Baltimore offered him, though?
Didn't they offer him like 240 mil?
No, he basically called false on that and said they offered him 3 for 133.
3 years for 133.
So same thing, the
Yeah.
40 million a year, but they
40.
only offered him 3 years.
Okay, so I know Richie wants him in Detroit.
I would love
And
him in Detroit.
I have been extremely vocal on how I don't want him in Detroit.
Not for
So,
guaranteed money, but I'd love him in Detroit.
Cory, you're going to be the rubber match here on that. You're going to make the final call on if he's a good fit for the Detroit Lions.
If he goes to Detroit, they're instantly a playoff team and win that division.
Well, I think they're
already the favorite to win the division.
I think we're already there.
No, I think like instant, like no doubt about it. Like zero doubts.
It would be a giant upset if they lost the division.
Correct. It would be like the Packers of the last 10 years. Like they're like heavy favorites. Yeah, they'll probably win the division unless, Jordan Love becomes Hall of Famer like we talked about. But like
watch the Bears randomly be good for some reason.
I mean,
not yet.
The Bears
will be next year.
There might be a year away. But they're getting there. But like I think Lamar needs I would love like the Jimmy, we said like Jimmy Garoppolo, it's his prove it year. Like, can he win with less? I want to see if Lamar can, like, what he can do with actual weapons. I'd love to see him in Kansas City. Like, give him Miami's weapons. Go give him Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and let's see what he can do. Like,
they might have the best 1-2 outside of Cincinnati.
Yeah, like give him Cincy's weapons. Give him the Niners weapons. Like, give him a thing and see what he can do. Like, he won the MVP, you're right, based off his rushing. Like, he didn't win it off his passing. It's because he ran the ball. So, like, and I get that, but, like, one, Greg Roman, is he just the worst play designer for a running quarterback we've ever seen in our life? He, like, never calls a pass play. So, like, what's coming. What's coming. Lamar never had the chance to throw the ball to Brown, which is why Brown left. Brown said he didn't leave because of Lamar. He left because of the OC. Yeah, so they finally fired Roman. But what's going to happen is they're going to let other teams set his market, and they're just going to match it. Like, he's not leaving Baltimore. They don't want to put in the legwork of what he's worth. They're going to let him. I don't
think any team is going to make an offer.
You don't tell me some other team's randomly going to be like, oh, no one's made an offer. Okay, we'll give you 5 for 150.
And they do get nervous too. Like, if they're like, well, what's the reason? Like, why does Baltimore not want you? And why are no other teams coming in and making this offer?
Or they're just going to lowball it, like 5 for 150, and Baltimore's going to be like, yep, thank you. We just got our franchise quarterback for $30 million a year. And the Giants are paying Daniel Jones 40. Like,
and with his mom as an agent, that can happen.
I think he should just keep playing on the franchise tag. Like you said, Minnesota.
That's such a huge risk for a running quarterback. And that's also why I wouldn't pay him the guaranteed money, is because he's a running quarterback.
He's one play away from being RG3. I've said that multiple times.
To be fair, if they didn't rush RG3 back into the playoffs, RG3 might have been an
Yeah,
awesome quarterback again.
they screwed him over so bad.
Yeah, they've ruined his career. All right, so we don't like Lamar Jackson to Detroit just because he costs too much. I did see an
It
interesting
definitely comes
stat.
down to the money for me as well. I'd love to have him there,
So that's an
but
interesting point. I saw a thing. It was
not for
like
that much.
every Super Bowl winner of the last 25 years, except for Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes, the quarterback made up like 12
Mhm.
less than 12% of their cap hit. And
I
then
thought it was 17,
it was
but
so,
no,
it
no,
was
no.
some
Mahomes
anyway,
is 17.
but
That's what it is.
it was
But yeah, you're right.
Mahomes, Brady, and Manning are the only quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl above 12% of their cap hit. So I thought that was interesting, and I think our boy Goff is right around that. He was at 11.7 or 12.7. He was really close, and Lamar is going to be far higher than that. Some fun other NFL news: Zeke got cut from the Cowboys. It's good to see an Ohio State man fall. I think we can all get behind that.
Dallas is a mess
Dallas, they overspent so
on
bad,
Dak.
and then they let Amari Cooper, the best route runner in the NFL, walk instead of him
And
when Tony Pollard is far better.
does the cap hits hitting hard with Dak this year, right?
It starts.
Yeah, they
That's why
paid
they had to
him.
let go of Zeke because they had to get under the cap by 4 o'clock today.
That's they're
They're
not
like
going to make
best
the
friends
playoffs.
too.
They're not going
No,
to make the
they're
playoffs.
not going to be a good
Their
team.
window
Should
was
we?
last year, and Dak threw what 9 interceptions in the last 3 games.
He was so bad, and I thought Dak was going to be good, especially after his start to last year, where he threw like 1,000 yards in 3.5 games before he shattered his ankle.
Mhm.
No, that Dak is gone. I don't know who this guy is.
Well,
Can we
enough about
appreciate that Zeke's last play as a Dallas Cowboy is when they lined him up at their under center and just let him get steamrolled by the Niners middle linebacker? That's his last play as a Cowboy.
that is such a
Jeez.
stupid play too.
Oh, God bless it.
Enough about the boys. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions and their free agent pickups. First things first, you cannot start with you cannot start with anything other than talking about their cornerback pickups. We didn't bring in Ramsey, which I thought was kind of a bum because we got a little excited about it on our last podcast.
Yeah, some
Um,
people they're talking like Detroit was a suitor, but I don't know if anything ever actually materialized other than tweets. Like I don't know if they ever
I
actually made an
agree.
offer.
And based on him getting sent over for a kind of a backup tight end and a third rounder, I think that Jalen Ramsey handpicked where he wanted to go.
Yeah, I also think doesn't isn't he in the last year of his deal?
I'm not sure.
Because if I remember, like I can't remember if LA signed him to another deal when he got there, if he was still playing out whatever Jacksonville re-signed him to. But you're gonna have to pay the guy. That Dolphins team is filthy on the outside now.
Yeah.
You have Tyreek Hill and Waddle on offense, and Xavier Howard and Ramsey on defense. Wow. And they're going to play against each other in practice all year. They're going to be so good next year. God, I hope that's where I want to see Lamar go. Go down to Miami on that team, like you were saying, Corey, and watch him win 14 games this year.
That would be a
Don't
wild
forget he won
team.
14 games with Baltimore.
Yeah, that was impressive.
It was 13 or 14 one year. So it's the Ramsey. I don't think they had a shot at Ramsey. It's the money, it's the picks. But I don't know if you saw it today, but possibly bring him back, Darius Slay.
I did see that. Then Seattle's
he's better than Ramsey. I think he's better than Ramsey.
Slay has been so shut down. Slay's been good for the last 8 years, and he never gets any national love.
Well, he was no offense, but the Lions didn't get because the team was bad. So
I agree with that. And now that he's in Philly, he's gotten a little bit, but he still doesn't get the respect he deserves, even being on a contender. Like he shuts wide receivers down. He's a very good technical shutdown corner.
He's definitely got the coolest nickname in the NFL.
Yeah, big play. It's the best. And I love that he won't let reporters call him anything other than Slay or big play. Like if they call him Darius, he's like Slay.
The thing about Slay with me is, let's bring the boys back. Let's get the gang back together. No, that's not the Detroit Lions anymore. we got a new game plan. We're bringing in people that fit us, not fan favorites. You
Yeah,
know,
but
Anybody,
when the fan
whether he's
favorite's a top 4 cornerback in the NFL,
yeah, I was gonna
well,
say
and he
it's
also left because of Patricia. Like, he didn't get along with Patricia.
your boy Patricia.
I did love the signing when it first happened, and I hate it. I hate him so much.
Your boy.
wait. You're telling me at one point you loved Patricia?
No, so, like, when we made the signing, I talked myself into it. Like,
Same.
I was like, "Oh, okay, coming from the Patriots, like, he's the big like, he's ugly, he looks like a football guy." Like, I got myself
He's
on board
ugly.
with doing it, and then, like, they won the Super Bowl, but he gave up, like, 40 points as a defensive coordinator, and I remember in the back of my mind, I was like, "That's not a good sign. Like, that's not a good look,"
Like we
and
picked him up
he
like
was
a
just
week
the
later.
worst. Yeah, it was
Has a Belichick assistant ever done anything in the
no,
NFL?
not a
No.
single
Yeah,
one of them.
exactly.
They can
Yeah,
barely do
like
well in college.
that's because he like I don't think Belichick like he just does his thing. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's
he's
not there to
running the
mentor
show.
him.
Like,
Yeah, like he's not there to mentor him. He's
this
just there
is
to win
his team.
games. Yep.
He's the reason the coaching there is good. They all feed off of him. He doesn't take the best from them.
I do love the Mosley signing for the Lions.
Well,
A prove it year coming
I
off.
love it on a 1-year deal.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Love
exactly.
1-year deal. Love him.
Yeah, I mean he's often injured, but when he is on the field, he's very good.
The only thing that backfires on a 1-year deal is like a DJ Chark situation where he had a really good year.
Yeah,
And
where
you're
they
like, oh
ball
shit.
out.
Now we got to pay him more or he's going to leave. So
Yeah, that's
shoot.
the risk reward. That's why you
Um,
get him cheap.
Exactly.
I do like the Mosley. I knew you would like the Mosley pickup because he's a 49er and you're probably pissed to see him leave. But I was more impressed with the 3-year, 33 mil for Cam Sutton. He's a younger, cheaper version of Ramsey, and I think he's going to fit very well.
Did Sutton
Um,
come from Tennessee?
Pittsburgh.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
He's going to have to get a new number though because he's not taking BS's number. I'll tell you that right now.
No, I'm excited that this seems like the first year in a long time that free agents are kind
Wanting to
of
come there, yeah, absolutely.
not necessarily like wanting, but like Detroit is an option. Before they're like, I'm not going to Detroit. Not only is it Detroit, but they were a bad football team. Now people are kind of like, I hear good things about what's going there. Like they're definitely a team I would consider coming to. I still think we're a few years away from being like players want to play in Detroit. I don't think we've hit that point yet. On the flip side, there is one guy that wants to play in Detroit, and that's Jamal Williams. I hear the deal is almost done. He was pretty lights out last year. I think he's 27 now, so he's right at the end of like the running back sweet spot. I'm curious what they're going to offer him and if he's going to take it.
I think the fact that they brought in Montgomery painted the picture that they couldn't come to terms with Williams, and they're going to let him walk.
Williams is a Saint
Wow, when did that happen?
today. Jamal Williams signed with the Saints.
I had a
Sucked.
busy day today. I had a busy.
I was busy as well today too. I literally finished the script like 10 minutes before he.
Yeah,
on the
it's like
flip, on the flip side, I love David Montgomery, and I hated playing against him when he was in Chicago.
As much as I wanted Williams back for the locker room and the goofiness that he brought to the team, David Montgomery is a better option than him when he's healthy. So I'm happy for that. He put together 1,000-yard rushing for Chicago. Imagine what he's going to do with a
Detroit's
top
line.
3 offensive line. Let him rip. Let him run. Let's see what we got. Again, I'm mad that we let Williams go. I thought he was a good locker room guy, but Montgomery's going to do work here, and I think he's a good fit.
Yeah. He's younger. He's going to turn 26 this year. It looks like.
I thought he was 24 when I looked.
I just looked it up. He's 25.
Okay.
Going to be 26 in a few months. I think Jamal Williams is 28 now that I'm looking at it. So, I mean, he's younger. He's dynamic. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, which is something Jamal didn't really do. He's not a small guy, 5'11", 224, so still provides us that power. So going back and forth between him and Swift, and now both of them have kind of the threat of a check down pass. I don't hate it. As long as he's, he's not going to come in and be Jamal Williams in the locker room and be that glue guy and that hype guy and everything. But if he comes in and balls out, guys will respond to that. I like
3
it.
years.
I like
I like
David
it.
Montgomery a lot.
He's gonna finish this
$6
contract.
million a year for a pretty good running back. He's
Yep.
going to finish this deal at 28, which is when most running
Perfect.
backs fall off a ledge.
Yep.
Good with it.
I'm also good with that. I agree wholeheartedly. Last thing on Cam Sutton, an absolute steal in my opinion, and I think this 100% puts to sleep that we're going to draft a corner at 6. People were saying we're
I
going to
have
draft
no
a
idea
corner
what
at
they're
6.
going to do.
I have no idea
what they're
either,
gonna do
but
at
I
6.
I kept hearing that they want a corner at 6, and I was like, no. So that put that to bed, and I'm happy for that. Watch him draft a corner now.
Right. I have no idea what they're going to do. It's going to be a fun draft this year. I think they're going to make moves.
So who's the big guy from Georgia? What's his name?
The tight end or the defensive tackle that's like a monster?
The one that just got into like the legal stuff.
Yeah, give me a guy with that. Give me a guy that strikes fear into people.
I can't think of his name, but if he's available at 6, you got to draft him. If Will Anderson's available at 6, you got to.
If Will Anderson's available at 6, Jalen Carter.
He won't be available at 6. It's Jalen Carter. I couldn't remember if it was him or Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis was the year before.
So you don't think Will Anderson's available at 6?
No chance.
So the only thing I didn't like about Jalen Carter this year is everybody talked him up all season, and he was pretty good. Georgia was on a lot of primetime games, especially down here in the South. The dude gets gassed fast. So I don't.
But in today's NFL, you need like 60 linemen, and you just rotate them in. It's like what Philly did with Jordan Davis.
It was noticeable to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I didn't like. And I'm not a guy that's like, oh, you got to be a high motor guy, or that's not kind of what I see. And I just saw it, and it just made me nervous. Like, is he going to get into the league, get all that money, and just not care whatsoever? Like, if he's not putting it in college when you're young and everything is all go all the time. Yeah, I pray Will Anderson falls, but I've been wrong before.
I think he's realistic at 6.
Yeah, especially I think 3 quarterbacks are going to come off the board in the first 6 picks.
Potentially 4 with the Colts.
Right. So there's going to be a lot of talent there at other positions for the Lions to pick from.
I mean, now that Jimmy G's gone and Derek Carr is gone and Mayfield signed, like the Colts, if they don't get Lamar Jackson, if you don't get Lamar Jackson, you're drafting one of these guys, so you're going to have to reach, right? So I think it might be the 4 quarterbacks for the top 4.
Which puts either Carter or Will Anderson at 5-6.
That honestly would be the best case.
Anderson will go 5.
Who is 5? Drafting.
Falcons? Is it the Falcons or no?
Falcons need a quarterback.
Well, there'll be none left after that. Who does pick 5?
Pulling up the draft order now. The Panthers from Chicago, Houston, Arizona, Indy, Seahawks, and Detroit. Seahawks could take a corner.
Seahawks will take a edge rusher. They don't have one.
They just let theirs go. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they let the defense. Might have been a D tackle, but they let somebody go. Yeah, so they'll probably. I'm guessing he goes there.
All right.
Unless something crazy happens and a quarterback falls that they might take, but if the quarterback falls, that probably means Will Anderson.
What's great about the NFL draft? Anything can happen. All right.
That's a great. We missed that one for favorite movies. Draft Day.
It's a terrible movie.
I actually thought that was a great movie. Now I'm actually pissed I didn't think about it.
It's so bad.
Oh, I like it. It's cheesy, but it's good.
Oh my gosh. The way he gets on the phone and wheel and deals is like, and give me Jim Smith because I felt like it. It's just it's so stupid and so unrealistic. I hated every second of it.
I mean,
especially with a 40-year-old playing a 40-year-old Black Panther playing the number 1 pick. I do love Kevin Costner.
And I love Jennifer Garner.
You say that until it actually
Alvin Mack, no matter what.
But you say that until it actually comes true this year, and Carolina does exactly what he just did. They trade for the number 1 pick, and then they trade out of it, get all their picks back, and still end up with the guy they wanted.
And get a special teamer too. Get a special teamer too.
Yes, exactly. Give me your long snappers are pretty important.
Yeah.
Give me a gunner.
We need a long snapper.
Yeah.
So good. No, it's not a good movie. I actually thought about it and didn't put it on my list because it's such a bad movie.
I liked it.
I'm glad that you guys didn't say it because I would have laughed at you.
Much like I laugh at your basketball teams.
At least I'm not losing in the first round.
It's true. If you don't make it, you can't lose.
Can't lose.
Would you rather, as we move into a would you rather, here's a quick little mini one. Would you rather win 5 NIT championships in a row or lose in the first round of NCAA tournament five times in a row?
Would I rather win 5 NITs or lose in the first round? I'd rather win 5 NITs than lose in the
NITs is
first
not
round.
even close.
Yeah,
Literally
I
not
don't
even
know
close.
what your argument there would be for the other side. Would you rather win 5 tournaments or lose in the first round of 5 other tournaments?
So
the NIT is more important than people think it is. Like, it's a good tournament. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that. The NIT is the losers bracket.
All right, move on to the real would you rather.
Michigan basketball is an NIT.
Silly.
Loser bracket.
Would you rather win games or lose games every year?
Would you rather? Classic school playground rules, one or the other. Cory, you don't golf, so this might be a difficult one for you. But would you rather always drive perfect down the fairway with appropriate distance to the hole, or always 2-putt or better inside the green?
I know which one. It's more difficult than I thought it would be at first read, but I know which one I would pick. But I'll let you go first. I feel like I always go first on these.
This one's tough because I can always get to the green fine. It's putting that is just nonsense for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's been holes where I will 5-putt and I want to throw my putter in the woods or in the lake. But then there's times where I have an extremely bad drive and I'm playing catch up the rest of the game. So final answer here, I think being bad at putting is what makes golf fun. So I would rather have a perfect drive every single time to set myself up to try to do good at putting.
So I did go back and forth on this one.
I hope that made sense. Did it make sense?
It did. But what it really came down for to me is one simple thing: is you drive for show and you putt for dough. I can get out of the box pretty decent, and I found the more I play golf, the better I am at getting to the green. But my putting is by far what is the most inconsistent. And when I get close to the pin, I take it more serious, and I can usually 2-putt if I'm within like 10 or 15 feet on my approach. But if I'm just on the green, I don't know what's going to happen. If I don't get that first putt close, I could be 10 feet short. I could be 30 feet past the hole and go off the green. I will 100% take 2-putting or better. That would immediately shave about 20 strokes off my game. If I could 2-putt or better. Because I can drive the ball pretty far already. Like, I'm decently strong. I'm young enough to where I can still swing the club pretty hard. Yeah, I think I will 100% take the 2-putter better. It would have the biggest effect on my golf game. And then also, like, does everybody know I can 2-putt? And you could use yours as well, like gambling. But it's like, I will bet you $50 I'm in the hole in 2 or less, or like purposely putt it to the other side of the green and make it a longer putt. I bet you $100 I make this putt.
I make this, yeah.
It's like $100. I'll make this putt. They'll be like, oh, you could, and then you could just hustle golf courses for the rest of your life.
I hate when I have a bad drive. I can get over the fact that I don't putt well because nobody putts well.
Sure.
But if I could hit it freaking straight right down the fairway and say, hey, who's up next? I'm ripping. That's where I'm at.
Just
Cory, where are you at on this? I know you don't golf, but
I used
You
to
understand
go
the
quite a
game.
bit. Yeah. To me, this is easy. Like to me, this is like a very easy answer, and I'm
Really?
thinking the 2-putter better.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Okay.
Because all you
Especially
have to do is touch the grass, and you're guaranteed. Like touch the green, and you're guaranteed only 2 more strokes. So if it takes you 4 strokes to get it to the green, the max you're going to get is a 6.
right.
Mhm.
So like all you have to do, like you're not always perfect down the fairway, but if you just like don't go for max swing to try and just do accuracy, and it takes you 3 hits to get it to the
That's a good
green,
point. You could just
you're
hit your
guaranteed a 5.
you could just hit your 7-iron every shot until you get to
Exactly.
the
Just get it.
green.
All you have to do
And
is
then
just
foot.
touch the green, and you're guaranteed to get it in 2. Plus, I'm terrible at reading greens. So
And it says in 2 or less, so like you can still make your first one. So you could also
First
be
one,
like
yeah.
very aggressive with your
that's what
opening putt.
exactly. Like you
So
said,
you
if
can
it goes
go
to the other side of the green, you're
doesn't
guaranteed
matter.
to make that next one.
But what if
To me, it's
you
easy.
what if your first putt takes you off the green?
I just putt
Oh.
it from wherever it is.
Well,
Well, it says
obviously,
from
every next
inside the
shot-
green, though. It does say from
Mm.
inside the green. So, like, I guess you do have to be semi-careful. You just don't
Yeah.
go
There
in there
has
and
been
hit it like
times where I've
I guess what are
putted
the what
like
do the laws
6
of
feet out
physics
and
apply to this? I think we're overthinking it. I think if you go
oh,
in the
you're
spirit,
the king of
I
overthinking
do,
would you
I do.
rathers.
I'll reel myself back in. If you're trying to make it like and you sail it over, I guess I think the 2-putt is definitely the way to go though.
There's nothing that makes me happier than a perfect drive though, for
Yeah.
me.
You know what is the most infuriating thing is like when you do smoke a drive right down the right or left side, and then you're all excited and you get down there and it's just snuck into the rough and you can't find it. That might be the most infuriating thing in golf.
Well, that's when you carry an extra ball in your back pocket and just drop it.
It's the gentleman's game.
That's fine. I gentlemanly put my backup ball down.
Oh, that was good.
Listen, I don't have a tour
Really?
card. I'm out there drinking Busch Lights and taking a couple
Busch
puffs of a
Latte.
cigar to act like I'm cool.
I also like where do you stand on music in the cart? I'm very pro speaker
Kanye.
in the cart.
Kanye.
Are we
No
still allowed
joke.
to listen to him like with the Nazi stuff?
Oh, I mean, I still like his music. I don't have to like the person.
Yeah. It's like the R. Kelly, Michael Jackson exception.
I think you could separate. You just have to separate the artist from the music, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Cory.
genuinely asking. Like
Yeah,
when he came
yeah.
out and he was like,
It's the same
I
with athletes.
like when he
Like,
was saying I'm pro Hitler, I was like, I don't know about that. It's like that's a
Yeah,
pretty wild
it
take,
was a bad
guy.
take, but if you want to
no,
stand
that's
the
not a
moral,
bad take. That's like the worst take.
I was like, we fought a war about it. All the countries got together and said,
Listen,
we don't
here's-
like this
here's my
guy.
thing
It's
on
the
that.
only time the world has been united has been against Hitler.
you name one artist that is squeaky clean, everybody's got dirt. Everybody said something stupid on Twitter. So you're gonna chastise every single music choice?
No,
Name
but the
me.
dude that was pro Hitler, the dude that
That's
diddled
fair.
little
I get it.
kids.
I get it. But when I'm golfing and it's my turn to pick the music, I usually choose
There's a
Kanye.
big
I
difference
do.
between a DUI and pro Hitler and pro diddling kids.
I get it.
I don't think you do.
He said bad things, but I like his music from the mid 2000s. I'm sorry. I like Elton
He's
John
incredible.
too, and he was a psychopath druggie in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Everybody was back
That's true.
then.
Yeah, that's not fair. They were victims of their time.
Oh, that's not fair. Okay.
Had to be.
Kanye's
R.
not
Kelly
fair.
had a kink, like where we can't, like
R. Kelly.
Well, though he was young girl. I don't know if I'd call early teenage girls a kink.
no, that's not the kink part of it. But yes,
Yeah.
I mean, he just
Yeah.
happened
No,
to do it on
if
the
it-
wrong people.
If it had
Yeah.
just
Like
if it had just been the kink,
Yes,
I could believe you could fly.
I've
Yes.
never understood that. Like, that's
No.
just something that I was like,
The golden shower. It makes no sense.
makes no sense for
Degrading.
both parties.
Nobody enjoys that. I refuse to believe it.
apparently one person did.
Somebody.
He went to jail over it.
I like how he still denies it too. He
I don't know
after-
what's funnier, the fact that R. Kelly did it or the Chappelle Show skit about it. Like
The Chappelle skit. The skit is so good.
Seriously, after he got found guilty, he should have been like, "Yeah, I did that shit.
Yeah,
My
right.
bad."
Like,
No, he needed to write a book called "If I Did It,"
yes,
and then
that's true.
detail how
Yeah.
he would have did it.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
All right, gentlemen, we're at the end of our segments. Cory, rate your beer 1 out of 5. Or is it 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10? Yeah, 1 out of 5.
1 is high,
yeah.
10 is high, I assume.
What we're doing out
That
of
makes more
5.
sense.
5 is
Oh, 5 is high.
perfect.
5's a
Yeah.
high, yeah.
A 4. I give it a solid
4?
4.
All right.
Ooh.
4.2 if we could do
That's
decimals.
a
Yeah,
banana bread
we
beer.
do.
I need to look into it.
I'm big on
honestly.
decimals. Yeah, can
Decimals
you?
like a 4.2, I would give it out of a bottle and a 4 out of a can.
So 4 out of a can, 4.2 out of the bottle. So get it out of the bottle if you can find it. The Italian style pills, by Oology, the Pilsner. I got to take a point off right away because it was just sitting here on the desk for about 5 minutes before I opened it. And as soon as I cracked it, it exploded. There was no shaking. There was no reason for it to. So I got to take a point right off the top for the random explosion. Factoring that in, it was a pretty good beer. I'm going to have to give it a 2.8 though for the explosion.
Oddside
Full point.
Brewing Company.
Yeah, I can't be having my beer exploding.
Your beer exploded? Is that what I heard?
You guys didn't see that? Like me
Oh, I
get up
saw
and grab
it.
a towel?
Oh.
So like I cracked open the beer after I think, and it just started pouring out, and it had just been sitting here for about 5 or 6 minutes. So there was no shaking. It was in the fridge for a couple days. There was no reason this beer should have had any issues.
I was so focused on our podcast.
You're focused on the bean snapper is what you're focused on.
That's not a bean snapper.
Or the bean, whatever.
Oddside Brewing Company, the old bean flicker.
Bean flicker.
Oh, way better.
Yes.
I give it a 4.1. I looked online what the score was, and with the females, it's a higher rating.
Say you Googled bean flicking.
No.
Government's on their way.
Went incognito on that search, but no, the females actually rate it higher. Surprisingly, bean flicker. Who would have thunk it?
What's it taste like?
Well, it was a coffee blonde, so little light roast.
Nice.
Flicked my bean, so that was
Flicking
pretty
that
cool.
bean.
I'm gonna look for that next time I'm at Total Wine.
I'm gonna ask somebody to help. So I'm looking for the bean flicker. Can you
I'm gonna
please
ask multiple people.
Can you
actually.
please point me in the direction of where you guys keep the bean flicker?
And that's when we can't get a hold of you because you're in jail.
I'm gonna be like, wait, is it that guy?
Is it her? Does she know where it is? Can she help me find a bean flicker?
All right. That's it for today. We'll be back next week to discuss how opening weekend went for the tourney. And Rich and I are actually going to break down the ultimate man bracket. So that's going to be a fun one.
Ultimate man. I like it.
Cory, appreciate the time. We'll
Thanks
definitely bring you back in for guest appearances here in the future. And with that, I'm out of here. See ya.
See you guys.
Thank you.